Okay students, good morning to everybody. Now today our topic is that English lesson for 8th class students, that is the unit 1, and C, that is the reading conferences. You will be get this one in the page number 15 in your textbook. I hope you are all going to taking the textbook and hearing my voice. So this is that one of the letter written by Ramesh to Suresh. He is going to expressing his views and what we are going to last about the past. So in this lesson he is going to explaining what is the previous in the childhood memories and everything is going to remembering. He is writing a letter. In this letter, where he was going to writing, he was writing from that Hyderabad. On which date he was writing? The 12th November 2012. He is writing letter to Suresh, and I am going to reading the content of this lesson. And you must be understand that very clearly, and you will be get that general idea what we are going to losing due to that a very hard work, and we are going to working like a machines, and there is no any time in that towns, and especially for the metropolitan cities and the towns. Now this is Ramesh. I apologize to or not meeting you during that your visit to Hyderabad the last week. And he went to that Ramesh, the apologizing to his friend. Why he was going to apologizing? Because when he visited the Hyderabad, he never gone to his friend's home. So that's why he is going to writing that letter. I had that meeting in my office. I remember how we are enjoyed about our childhood days in Manikonda village. He is going to remembering and going to saying to his friend how we enjoyed in the childhood days. His native place is that Manikonda. That is that Manikonda village. Every day we played together in our garden. During in the childhood days memories he is going to explaining to his friend. And our family was that very big. So what he was going to say, that is that our family is that very big. There were that 12 members in our family. Now we have a nuclear family, because only father, mother, brother and sisters, that's it. But in the previous days, there is a joint family. Like that, grandmother and grandparents, uncle, aunt and everybody. There is a lot of that family members will be getting together. But now you can't be getting that one, because that in our that busy life, we are going to losing our total culture. So, in that family, they have that only 12 members. I remember how we played in that moonlight and during in that village areas. Now we are going to forget everything. We are going to sitting in front of the TVs and the computers. We are going to playing the computer games. But in the previous days, they have to go out during the night time in the moonlight, and they will be playing the some of the games. And our grandma used to give the fruits and biscuits. So now our mother is going to providing pizzas and that pistas and that some of the other that very delicious food. Now we are going to take it. On the time, the grandparents will be provide some of the fruits and biscuits when they are going to playing in that moonlight. Our grandpa used to tell us that fairy tales about that the princess, warriors and the village boys. But even that grandfather. The grandfather will be tells us the stories about the warriors and also the princess and village boys. The village boys, what they are going to doing and how they are going to achieve, and even that some of the stories. It is the very very interesting stories about the queens and kings. But nowadays, nobody was going to teaching that some of the stories to our grandchildren. Find out the difference. How in the last days and how nowadays. So now I am that working in that Microsoft as a software that company, the Hyderabad as a computer programmer. Now he was going to working in that Hyderabad. Who? That is that Ramesh. He is working in that Microsoft and automatically is that a computer programmer. I am married and we have that child. And he was going to explaining about his the family. He got that married. And now that God is blessed with that one of the child. So my wife works at that Dell Hyderabad as a system analyst. And is that family, a family member of that also. He is also programmer and that in the Dell company and a program analyst. So what happens? You know that city life is that quite busy. Not in that the life in that village areas, rural areas and the urban areas is that quite different. In the rural areas they have a lot of time. But during in that urban areas and during in the cities, the life is that very very busy. So now what is that when the comeback? My wife that works that we start that in the morning. The leave about that child at that baby care center and come back to that evening with the faded faces. In the morning time, they are going to completing their breakfast and taking their carriages and they are going to living. And what they are going to doing about that child? They are going to keeping in that some of the baby care centers. Because nobody that there is no any grandmother, grandfather or that anybody elders to look after that her child. Because they are that nuclear family. And whenever they are going to their offices, what they are going to doing? They are going to keeping their child in the baby care centers. At that evening time, they are coming home back to their home with the faded faces, means tired faces. Because during the lot of work they are going to doing in front of that computers and they are feeling that very tired. So we hardly that find the time to us that get together and discussing. We work with the computers, think like in a computers and live like in a computers. We have that forgotten our family. Totally in the busy life. Morning they are going to the office and working with the computers. And also doing the computers. And also they are going to thinking we are the computers. So there is no any time. Hardly they are going to getting that some little bit of time to talk with them. To talk to each other. But now we have that forgotten our family also. He is going to explaining. He is going to apologizing to his friend. So what is that busy life they are going to spending in extremely in the cities. I remember how we played that Gilli Danda. Some of that the childhood games. On the time there is no any computers and that there is no any busy life. And even that in that the traditional games, it will be called the Gilli Danda. And also that hide and seek and that kabaddi. So mostly good now you are going to see that some child is going to play like these games. But hardly the most number of the child are playing the games with computer and also some of the Android phones. They are going to sitting like that laziness. They are going to playing. They are going to talking with that only computer and in that Android phones. But on that days, in the previous days, they will be play in the grounds and working that hard. Due to that exercise, they will be get that healthy. Now the child is going to becoming that very lazy. Why? Because they are going to sitting in front of that computers and they are going to play, they are going to talking, they are going to thinking, these are my friends. So this is that they have no any the physical stressness. Because in the previous there is any some of the games like that Gilli Danda and that hide and seek and that kabaddi, there is any strength and games. So now we are going to getting that. We went for that swimming in our that local tank that every Sunday. in Manikonda village, he is going to remembering about what is that past days. If any Sunday is going to coming, we are also going for that swimming. And in the Manikonda village, the nearby there is a tank. And in that one, he is going to swimming. So here we live in that the apartment where there is that no room to play. Nowadays, we are going to living in the congested areas. Like that apartment culture is now is the very big. So apartments means that is a 2 BHK, 3 BHK that we are going to getting. In the apartment rooms, they have no any specially playing rooms or that any rooms, but only they are going to living. So our flats are that world just like a well for a frog. Our flats, the beach that flat they are going to living, that is the world. And he is going to comparison. Suppose one of the frog is going to living in a well. That frog is going to doing this is that my world. In the same way we are also living like that. So how happy we are in our school. We used to sit in that same row, did all that work together and took the part in that events. During in the childhood days, during in the school days. He is going to remembering. How we are going to sitting in the one row. And how we played. And how we read it. And how we participated in the events. They have it together. But now we are going to living that alone. They went that I remember how that Padmanabhaiah sir, our class teacher, they appreciated us when we got the first prize in that district science fair. He is going to remembering in the school days, and one of the best teacher that is that Padmanabhaiah sir. And when they got the prize in the science fair in the district level, how that Padmanabhaiah sir that felt that very happy and appreciated that his student colleagues. So in the same way, our tour of the Sri Sailam is the memorable during that holidays, not only that holidays, that is the botanical tour or that any tour you can be guessed it. During the tour, what they will be doing? They went to the Sri Sailam because it is the forest area, the natural beauty, they can be that enjoyed that natural beauty. So now in that one, when we got that first prize, and I remember we went to that picnic to that Koli Sagar. There went to that boating in our to that Sri Sailam, Koli Sagar. That is that one of the visiting spot when they are going to with the picnic. So already the full of that the trees and that almost touched the sky. I remember the roaring of that Krishna river at the dam. That is the sound. Roaring means that is the sound coming from that floating river. When the gates has been opened, that river is going to floating and making the sound. That will be known as a roaring sound of that river Krishna. That in the Sri Sailam you will be find out that river Krishna. There is that nothing there. I wonder that in my that child is the silence. He always that sits in front of the computer and plays the games, never caring for anyone. Now he is going to discussing about that is the child. What is that one? There is nobody to talk, there is nobody to play. Just that child is going to sitting in front of that is the computer and they are feeling that alone. So he is going to expressing that he always be that he sits in front of the computer and plays the games and never caring for anyone. On the time in the previous days, there is no any computer, then automatically they are going outside and playing in the moonlight. And the grandparents is going to giving them some of the biscuits and fruits. That is the olden days. Now what is that one? Nuclear family. So that nobody was going to taking it. Even child is not going to taking the care of another. So I remember that happy moments when that uncle visited us. He brought the toys and the fruit for us. So he is going to describing about that is the past days. And now we are going to think that I remember the happy moments which our that uncle visited us. Suppose if any our that the family members visiting to our house, especially in the previous days, they will be bring something like that fruits, biscuits, and some of the clothes to us. Nowadays, nobody is going to visiting our houses because of the nuclear family. We are not going to needing that any others. So now what we are going to doing, that is that respectable. So now what is that man? That our aunt brought me that new dress for Dashara. And when that uncle is going to come, and they will be bring that fruits and biscuits. And when the aunt is going to came to our house, she bring that some of the new dress for the Dashara. And even that, how we enjoyed that Deepavali. During that, my childhood moments I am going to, when I am going to remembering, when I am the telling about this lesson, I am going to remembering my that childhood days. You can be imagine how the days has been. Like that Deepavali, now that cost is very high. On the day, no cost. Even that, even if you are going to spending that mostly the 10 rupees, the bag is full of the crackers. When I am going to say like this in front of that video, nobody will be believe, because even that 10 rupees, even 10 rupees now they are going to asking that child, what will become about the 10 rupees, sir? Kuch nahi. So it is that one of the olden days is the best days. We are going to remembering. And how we enjoyed that Deepavali, still I hear the sound of the crackers. I can be see that the rockets are flying into the sky, the making that night full of that light. So suppose in my childhood, when I brought that 10 rupees firecrackers, we are going to enjoying from starting of the Deepavali to Nagul Chauthi up to that 4 or 5 days. Regularly every day and night we are going to the firing the crackers and making the sound. That sound still I am going to remembering. But when I am going to watching the Deepavali nowadays, nothing. Even half an hour, that mostly that 1 hour they are going to enjoy. Every person is going to thinking why we should waste our money. But on the time they will be think we want to enjoy. But now there is no any enjoy, because mostly that half an hour time. After that half an hour, every person of the family members are going to sitting in front of the TVs and watching the shows. They are going to enjoy. But in the previous days, not like that. Every family members will be go outside and that enjoy their exams. So now what happens? I can be see that the rockets are flying in the sky and making that night full of that light. Where are those days my child does not know is that uncle or aunt, for him that uncle and that neighbors are their same. Whenever I am going to remembering about my personal self, I am going to say. When I am going to say about myself, but total that family members will be gathered for that enjoyment. But nowadays, they have no any time. If we are going to sending that any invitation, hardly they are going to coming. And even one day, after that one day they are going. We have a lot of work, we have a lot of job, and we want a lot of work, computer work to do. So what is that one? We are going to busy life. This busy life, we are going to forgetting that everything. Our festivals, our rituals, and our culture, and everything we are going to forgetting. So this is that a letter to a friend is that explaining about that the future and about the past. Sometimes I think that our childhood days, I think that the grandparents, uncles, brothers and sisters, there is a lot of relation between the parents and that our family members. But nowadays, we don't know. The grandson don't know about the grandpa. And even that we don't know who is our uncle, Bavaya, Tataya, and nobody knows. Because we are not going there and they are not coming here. So that's why the family relations are getting that very weak. So we miss them, we miss the joy of the family, we miss their company, and we missing many things in this busy life. Think about that one. Now we are going to missing that everything. Missing our joy, missing our happiness, missing our family members, missing our culture and everything, their company and everything. So this is that we are going to say about that one. So the Suresh, I don't know where those that the gardens have gone. Now we are going to changing. If Whenever that I will be gone to that my native village, I cannot be there to remember where I have been that place. That place has been that changed. Now in that one, the lot of that area is covered with that huts and tiled houses. Nowadays there is some of the buildings and a large number of the apartments. So the lot of change has been that came. Those that fairy tales, those the fruit and those the words of that love and that affection. On the days. Now we are going to change that teddy. And we are going to eating that some of the fruits. Now we are getting the most modern fruits and modern things. But on the time there is a traditional that every food habit will be created that our healthy foods. Now it is that also healthy foods, but there is no any tradition. We are going to far away from our tradition. We have lost our that real life in this unreal world. Whatever we are going to living in this world, this is the unreal, and we are going to missing about our the bad days. About that real life, and we are going far away from our nature. Now whenever we are going to sitting in that room, there is an AC, but we are not going to enjoying that natural beauty. So that's why in this lesson, especially for myself, I want to that saying about for personal. Anyhow, I am happy that I have found the time to write it to you in this busy life. He is going to spending 5 minutes or 10 minutes. He is going to remembering his friend, and he is writing about his family members and about his joyness and about the last that what is the future and what is the past. So please come to me. Let's remember our childhood days of joy. Whenever you have a little bit of time, so you come to me, to come to my home, to spend that holidays, and we will be enjoying and remember our the olden days. This is that the letter as written by Ramesh to Suresh. So I hope you are all understand this lesson, and during the childhood that remember your parents and your colleagues and follow that rituals. So keep our family very happy and learn more and learn about our tradition and festivals and keep it with that very carefulness. Thank you very much.